So hey guys, good evening to all of you. So let's get started. Okay. Okay, so waiting for you guys. I guess you knew today was a class. Okay. Anyway. Check it out. Okay. So how are you doing? Okay, so people are coming in. Okay, great. Just waiting for your reply, guys. Did you understood each and everything in the last class? Any doubts, any confusion? What do you think? Good evening, Ganesh. Yeah, I'm fine, Reshma. Okay. Satish, fine, great. Satish. Okay, awesome. Good evening, Clavani. Good evening, guys. Good evening, guys. So I guess let's get started. Or I'll give you 5 minutes, like more people will join. Till that time, if you have any queries or questions, you can let me know. Okay, go on. Oh, thank you, Pranav. I was back a day ago. Good evening, Anna. Thank you. Chandru. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Amol. Okay, so any questions, anything? Yeah, quite good. Okay, I guess let's get started off. A good night. Let's wait for some time. Then at the end, we can say good night. Okay, so let's continue. So I'll be sharing my screen. You can see my screen. Other things I'll put it on the screen too. Okay. Okay, awesome. So let's continue, guys. Of course, I'm closing my WhatsApp. Okay. Awesome. How did you achieve it, Reshma? Can you write in the chat? So till that time, let me open that. So we are continuing with that yellow part. That's awesome. So we are here. Let me run this application. npm start. Okay, let it open. It will take a minute. Starting the development server. I need to open on the screen too. So let me make it on the screen. Awesome. This series will only be UI learning for now. Okay, and some of our old friend are here, loveface.xyz. He is always there in all my YouTube lives for some reason. Yes, yes. Okay, so now we are here. So what I want to do, I want to add an inline style at this particular place. So normally, how do we add a style? Okay. Yeah, no, you're totally correct. This is what we are trying to do now. Okay, this is the place from where we'll continue. Guys, give me a second. Yep, guys. It will be like style is equals to color. It was not color. It was basically like what is it? Text align center. You have to do it right. Style is equals to dash dash. Unfortunately, both of you are correct. This is the normal way we write it, right? Almost. Okay. So style. This is how we write it. Remember, this is not HTML. This is JSX, right? Text align equal to center. Awesome. And there is, instead of one, don't you think there is two curly braces? Right? And now in normally you write like this, text align. If you have a single word attribute, no problem. If you have a double word, okay, you can combine them, okay, like this, and make the second word as capital. Okay, text align. Okay, center. Awesome. Okay, it's a small change, sorry. Okay, so now so you can see there's a basic, just some changes here, right? And now if you see, it is aligned in the center. Okay, yes. Camel case, yes, sir. It's a camel case. Okay, so you got it. So there are a few differences that we have noted. Instead, when you are using CSS, if you have to use the inline CSS, there is a little syntax change, right? Okay, and we'll follow the camel case. Okay. The second thing is like this. What do you say? Instead of the word class, we'll be using word class name. As simple as that. Perfect. I guess this much is clear to all of you. Okay. So now let's come to the second thing. Okay, this is done. So now CSS believes in one of the thing, okay? And if I show you the docs, sorry, I mean to say React. React docs. I don't know, like it's a little difficult to speak these days. Okay. So if I tell you, okay. So there are some of the features that I told you at the start. Declarative, what does declarative mean? What does component based means? Learn once, write anywhere. This I think I don't need to explain you. You can learn once and write anywhere. Basically, write anywhere means like literally you can use it in irrespective of any platforms and all that. Also, React is used for making website and apps at all the places. Right? So component based, this is what we need to explore. What is the word component based? So component based basically means you can make it something like a component which will have several piece of code, okay, which you can reuse it for a number of purpose. Okay, so basically according to this, you can reuse a piece of like a certain code will be there which can be available to reuse it by creating a component. You can call it again and again. Okay. So in simple words, okay. So React says then please don't repeat a piece of code. So, but what I have done, I have repeated the creation of button exactly same way. Of course, the button names are different 3 times. You will say this is a small piece of code. Yeah, okay, I have taken a small example. Just imagine, but you have to make a card like card one, card two, card three. It will be like 6 to 7 line of code, right? In that case, but I have taken a single line example. Just I'll show you how you should not repeat your piece of code. This is a wrong process. Okay, we'll also correct that. Okay. So let's have a look. So the first thing. So now let's correct the things one by one. Step number one. So according to the things that we have done now, this is index.js file. Okay. In this, I have created a component. Okay. And then rendered a component. These are the two things I have basically done it. But in general, we don't create any component in index.js file. And now you'll be saying why? Because like we generally have different files for different purpose. Okay. So index.js is generally for like what is it, rendering the complete code to like what is it, index.html. Okay. Then you will say, where should I create this component? Okay. So in case if you want to create this component, you will be creating it. New file. Okay. App.js. One thing to note here that A is capital letters, capital, right? This I is of small letter. Okay. I'll be explaining you why capital is small, but just note it for now. In this particular file, I'll be writing, of course, import React. If you have those extensions installed that I told you last class, you can just write IMR, okay, and click this, and it will auto complete for you. Okay, now, okay, I just want to copy paste this thing, that's all. Okay, from here to here. This is a place where I've created a component. So index.js is basically not for creating a component like this. Okay. Sorry. So now once I've created a component, guys. Okay. So what is the purpose of the component in app.js? I'll talk about that purpose, but let's figure it out. Okay. So I have created a component named hello. So now what happens now? Now basically, since you have created a component in a separate file, okay, and I'm also using hello at this place. So now hello is not available in this particular file, right? So you'll not be able to use it. So some way hello need to import it from app.js because this is created in some other file, right? So how can you import it? You can say simply, no problem. I'll import it like this, the way you have imported it. Import, what do you want to import? I'll say, I want to import hello. Okay, so you'll write import hello. So write the name of the thing that you want to import. Okay, with the correct spelling of import, of course, from and the file location. Where is the file location? Dot slash. Okay, and where it is located? It is located in app.js, right? App.js. Okay. Now, since we are following JavaScript only in the complete thing, okay, so you can skip JS. By default, it will mean JS.js, okay? But if it's some other extension, you need to write it. Okay, even if you write .js, it's not wrong, but there is no need to write it. Okay. So import hello from app. But even if we see, we'll still see some errors. It's not working. And why is that? And you'll get a error like export default. What does that mean? That means you can simply understand it like this. Whatever is present in app.js, it's very much private to your app.js, right? So till app.js 1, basically no one can access those things. Okay, in simple words. So if you see it, have a look. So like you will say, okay, so I said it is private. So how will I make it public so that anyone can access it? So there is a very simple thing to do at the end. So still there is need to import index. I'll talk about that index thing, style.css thing. Okay, actually there is no need, but yes, I'll talk about that. Export default. Okay, and then finally you'll write this name hello. So this is a piece of code. Like you can have a lot of piece of code, but this is a piece of code. I want to make it public that anyone can use it. Okay, so basically it is exported. Okay, export default hello. Look at the syntax of export. Okay, and now you'll basically see here. Okay, so now this import will basically be working and this hello will be perfect. And once I come here, this error will be sorted out. So exactly correct. And even our CSS is basically restored. Okay. See, ultimately the final code, all the final code is coming here. So whether you put CSS here or in the app.js doesn't make a problem, right? Because ultimately before this getting displayed on the screen, every CSS will get applied. So there is no problem. Okay. You can put it in intel.js or app.js, no problem at all. Okay. Now there are some more syntax of this export that you will find throughout the React project that we'll be going to make. Okay. So what is this? So like, see, you have done export default hello. Okay. So this is called default export. Okay. There are two types of export. This is called default export. There is one other type of export, which is called named export. So what is the difference between two? Okay, so default export syntax is like this. So whenever someone imports this, they will import it like this. The way it is getting imported. So now what is, there are some differences, but let's first talk about the syntax. Okay. So let's suppose this is named export. Okay. So for the named export, you'll just write it like this. At the same place, wherever it is, wherever you have defined a function, at the same place, you can write export. This is called named export. Okay. So if you are exporting it like this, there will be a small change, okay, in the way you import it. Okay. You will just put a curly braces here. Import hello from app. Okay. That's working. So this is a difference, like syntactical difference. Okay, between named export and the default export. Which is better? So there is nothing called better or worse. It depends how you structure the application, and I'll explain you when you should use what. Okay, so now guys, what default, if you are using default export, okay, default like in a single page, like I have just created one component, but you are free to create as many components as you want. Okay. So now if you are creating multiple components, but with the help of default export, you can just export only one component. Like there is no way to write it. Let's suppose you have multiple components. So there is no way to write like this. Okay. It's totally a wrong approach. Okay. But with the help of named export, as many like component you make, okay, doesn't matter. Okay, you can export it simply with the named export. So they don't have a limitation. That's it. But this is my personal recommendation. Never make more than one component in one particular file. Okay. Either use named export or default export, that's totally your choice. But always go for one component per file. Okay. Okay. Is there a shortcut for compiling? Like I'm not compiling anything. It's auto. I am not restarting the server again and again. No, it's automatic. No, whenever you make a changes, it will automatically reload, and automatically the changes will come here. Right? Is this what you are trying to ask? What do you guys think? Okay. Anyway, is this till this point? Is it clear to all of you? Yes. No. Any doubts? Okay. Hope it's clear. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome, guys. So now let's have a look. Yep. So let's proceed. So guys, okay, let's go move to the next thing. Okay, one important thing that you should note here. Okay, basically you can do anything like this. Okay, yes, awesome. Okay, I'll be talking now. Give me a minute, Vishal. I'll come to that part. Okay, let me wind this up. I guess basically not more than I guess 3 days. Okay, by the end of this week, I guess we'll cover it. Okay. Because there, like when it comes to project, there are a number of things. So until I tell you those things, you will not know, because I think most of you don't know React already, right? Okay. So next thing is, like, I have named this file as app.js, right? So my suggestion will be your file name and your component name should be same. Even if you keep different, no problem. We already did it, right? But my suggestions will be keep it same. Now, since component name is in capital letters, like I told you yesterday, if you're giving a component name, that should start with a capital letters. That is why, since component name and file name, we want to put it same, so we make it capital letters. So if any file, in any file, you are going to create a component, you make sure you write the same name here with capital letters. Okay. This is just a suggestion, and we follow. There are some rules that we follow, right? Okay, and we go with that rule in general. 1 second, guys. 1 second. I guess the screen share got stopped for some reason. No, something happened. I just opened my charger. 1 second, guys. What happened? Okay, nothing happened. Thing just moved on the first screen. Am I still audible? And can you see my screen? Just someone can confirm. Yes, no, something. Okay, I was not visible now. Now I'm still invisible, right? Okay, awesome, awesome, guys. So let's continue. Yes, awesome. Okay, guys. So now, since I have made the changes here, no, I got visible now. Okay. So since I have made the changes here, so of course you need to change the things. Okay. So I'll go with the default export. I like writing default export for some reason, because maybe I've started learning with that. Anyway, but it's totally your choice. Since I've changed the name, app, so app index. Awesome, Guna. Okay, and now we are here without this bracket. Perfect, guys. Awesome. I guess it's back. Awesome. Things are clear. Let it reload. Okay. Clear, guys. So let me put this on the. Okay, my voice got stuck. I use a third-party service for like noise clearance that got stuck sometime, but it's quite nice. Okay. Okay, guys, I guess you can see me also now, right? Hmm. So, sir, can we make multiple component by making, yes, that is what is recommended. Whenever you are creating multiple component, you'll be creating multiple file. I'm talking about that now. Okay. So now index.js file purpose you basically understood in simple words, right? What is the purpose of app.js file? So the purpose of app.js file is quite simple. And what is that? So the purpose of your app.js file is it acts like a global, you can say, component, which collects all the remaining component and send it to index.js. Like whatever more component that I'll be creating the file, I'll put all my components here, and finally app will send the all the component to index.js. Okay. Okay. No problem. Okay. Uh, am I visible, guys? No answers on that. I guess I may be visible. Yes. So now we are here. Okay. So now we are here. Let's not repeat a certain piece of code again and again. Okay. Yes, you are awesome. In case if I am repeating certain piece of code, so generally what you do in case of JavaScript or in any language, you create a function and call that function again and again, right? This is what I'll be doing. Like this is a button. So I'm repeating this button code again and again. So what will I do now? Here in the source, okay, I'll be creating a folder. See, this is a structure I follow, and I will tell you guys to follow it. Go inside the source, create a new folder and give it a name button. Since if you're going to make a button component, button, okay. Now this is a file. Now inside the file, I'll create a new file, which is called button.js. Okay, for a button component. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of creating a folder then a file? Why can't I directly create it? You can directly create it. The only reason is if I want to create several components related to button, all will be in the same folder. Okay. Okay. So is there any good convention for naming multiple components in the project? Is there any good convention for naming multiple? I did not get your question quite well. What I understood is like, if you have to name several components, generally we name it like on the most obvious name. Generally we follow that rule. Okay. Okay. So what will we do? Of course, import React from React. So I'm in the button.js, right? So what component means what name we should give. Okay, so you should give the name which is more obvious name, right? Here I was going to create a component related to button, so I gave it a button. So basically the idea of a name in general for all programming places, give a name such that like even if the name is big, even if the name goes to 3 to 4 words, doesn't matter, but your name should clearly make us understand what is the purpose of that. Okay, that's the rule we generally follow in coding. Okay. So now I want to create a component named button. Why? For that purpose, I don't want to repeat this per line of code 3 times. So const button. Okay, there is some marriage nearby. When I was in standard 12th, I remember. No, not. I dropped a year after 12th. Okay. So I was living in a hostel. That time I went in the maximum number of parties. Like I used to I and some of my friends used to jump my hostel gate, okay, and then go to the parties nearby. But now I think it's not a good way to go at this age, right? So this is a button. Perfect. Okay. So what I am return. Okay. So basically this same thing. So instead of writing it multiple times, I will just copy it one particular time. Okay. Control C and put it in button. Okay. Apple. Okay. And I'll remove all these things. Sorry. Okay. Awesome. So now this is the one. So basically now what will happen? There is a component whose name is button, and whose name is button. You can basically call it, but before calling it, of course, you have to export it. Export default button. Okay. So now if you see it, I'll call it here. So first, before calling it, okay. Before calling it, you can export it. I mean to say you can import it. Import button. Okay. In case if someone has problem understanding this input, how I am writing this input, do let me know. Okay. So here what I'll be calling it, I'll be calling this button. I had like I needed 3 times, no? 3 times. I am coming to that. I will talk about that. Basically, we'll see a terms called props. So first, like of course, I'm calling it 3 times. So if you call it any number of times, this component will be called here. What will this show? But there will be a button whose name will be Apple. It's showing you a button whose name is Apple. But this is not what I want, right? For me, every button should have a different name. Okay, and as when you are calling a function, basically you can pass parameters, right? So can we do it here in React? I'll be like, yes, of course you can do it. So basically how to do it? There are a lot of ways. One way is called props. Other way is called destructuring of props. So let's not go into name as of now. So I'll tell you a simple way. Just give a curly braces here. Okay. Sorry, not here. I mean to say in button.js. Okay. Curly braces. You will say this Apple now, this should be dynamic. Basically, whatever I want to put when I call it, that value should be there. I'll be like, awesome, put a curly braces here also. And give it some name, any random name that you want. So I'll put the name like button text, but you're free to put any name you want. Put the same name here. Okay. As simple as that. Okay. So now when I call it from app.js, what you can say, the same, you can use the same name and give it a name here. Like first time you want to give it Apple, copy it, copy it, copy it. Done. And let's give it go. No, mango. Let's take a different name. Perfect. 1 second, guys. Just I got to see somewhere. Let me check it out. Anyway, let's go. Yes, props. Yes, props basically means you can compare it like the analogy is functions have a parameters, no? So those things will be here. Okay. Instead of parameters, we use a term props here. Of course, like we'll also have a look at props in little detail, but for now you can compare it like the parameters of the function. Okay. This is what is button text, right? Perfect. So now we are done with this. Okay. So now if you see, we have these 3 things, Apple, Mango, and Go. So of course you can call it and provide the custom text. Totally okay. But there's one more issue. What is the issue? I told you, like when you are creating a big project, like let's suppose an e-commerce or something, what will happen? The thing that will happen to you guys is, this is hello, right? So I mean, this is a, let's suppose e-commerce project. So you will be creating a lot of components. And I told you, app.js is a place where you will finally collect all those components. So now, if I'm writing the same line again and again, this is not recommended. But you have to write this line. There is no way, but don't write it in app.js. So what I'll do, inside my button now, I'll create a separate component. Okay, let's call this new file and let's call it, you can say button display something. Okay, .js. Okay, so here I can import it. Import React from React. What is this weird thing? Const button display. Coming to your doubts, give me a minute. Okay, let me complete this part, then I'll come to your doubts all in one. Give me a 2 minutes. Okay. So here, what I'll be doing, here basically I'll be returning. Okay. So whatever you write in return, basically that's contribute to the UI of your page, right? Okay. So of course, first I have to call it, right? So import button, not from this. Okay. In the return, basically what I'll be writing this multiple thing, right? Button display. Enter. Now you'll finally export it. Sorry, since there are multiple lines, you have to use a div tab. Now let's export it. Default button display. Okay, so now since now in your final app.js, you just have to explore button display. Button display. And finally, here you'll call just button display. Awesome. So now if you check it out, let it be here, let it reload, and you will these buttons. Awesome. So is this clear to all of you? Any problem? Do let me know. Okay. Okay. So now, okay, let me read your question. Is it necessary to give the same name in button text that we had in argument? Yes, of course. Give me a minute. You guys, any doubts? Anything? Do let me know. I guess this is just the basics of React. Of course, we cannot cover each and everything. React takes around 30 to 40 hours to get covered, basically. Okay. Can two component have same prof names? Yes, two functions. Component you can, for analogy, this is not correct, but you can imagine it like a function. Not, it doesn't matter what two component have. They will have they're totally separate. You can have same props name, other props name, doesn't matter. Because whenever you are calling them, how do you call it? You call them with the name of the component, right? It doesn't matter, right? Okay. Is this way we use for menu bar? I didn't get your question, Vijay. So if all components are aggregated in app.js, how are multiple? Okay, there the totally new concept comes. Okay. Okay, which we call React routers. Of course, we have not touched that. Okay, we'll see that. Kunal, this is totally out of box question. Can we introduce looping in this situation? I did not get an idea. How can you use looping? Basically, you can have multiple variables and put it like that. Yes, you can do that. Robin, yes. It depends now how you are using a menu bar. Of course, you can create a separate component for a menu bar and you can basically call it. When will we learn state management? Of course, the remaining other topics I'll be teaching you along with the project, Facebook project. Okay. Of course, in the Facebook project, we will build a complete UI. So whatever you can see in the Facebook, most of the things will be there. So we'll learn each and everything. Okay. And rest all things will be going with by learning on the go. Means There will be a number of things you'll be hearing for the first time. So I'll be explaining you on the go many other things. Okay. That's a nice. I guess let's keep it till this point for today. From tomorrow, let's start with the Facebook project. Okay. Good. I'll wait for a few minutes for some questions. How to add dynamic website effects? Effects means like you're talking about those animations on a website. Is it, Amok? Is that the thing? Or dynamic website effect, that means like dynamic data changing like Facebook, something like that. Which are you talking about? Okay, so basically you're talking about effects. No, there is nothing like thing like this. Okay, you can do that in JavaScript also, React also. So that is a totally separate story. Text animation. So most of the animation you can make it with CSS, or some animation you can use JavaScript or jQuery, and you can make a lot of animations. So basically, I have not worked a lot in animations, so I cannot tell you much. When it comes to animation, of course, like as a full stack developer, it's not like everything you'll be doing, but yeah, animations, if I have to do it, I'll generally choose CSS and JavaScript. Okay. Instagram UI clone. Okay, so which one do you want, Facebook or Instagram? What do you guys think? Okay, one vote for Instagram and remaining all of the vote for Facebook, I guess. 1 second. Okay, number of votes for Instagram. Insta. Okay, many for Insta. Okay, great. Okay, some more, let me know. How many of you are watching it currently? Okay, Guna with Facebook. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Instagram. Okay. And 1 with Facebook. We try once, sir. Instagram, Facebook, so Instagram. No problem. Nothing is childish. We all are learning here. Right? So in line 8 of app.js, are we calling button display component? Yes, we are calling button display component because I have already written it 3 times. We are just calling here in app.js. Both of them almost have same component, so you can basically learn from anything. Okay, and you guys are, it's not like hard or difficult. You guys are just starting, so everything is totally new and hard for you. So it's okay. Okay. Okay, so lots of votes for Instagram. Okay, let me talk with the team what they want, because it was advertised as Facebook, you know? Okay, and even you can see the video title, Facebook Instagram clone, and we are going for, okay, I will tell them to change it to meta clone. Okay, then it will be totally okay. Right. Okay, anyway, we will either start with Instagram or Facebook. That I'll let you know tomorrow when we start. That will be a surprise. Even I don't know as of now. Okay, that's all, guys. I'll check you. Okay, you may need this piece of code. No? So let me push this piece of code for you. Remember, of course, okay. Mm, so remember, this code will be there. Okay, the only thing that you guys need to understand in this, of course, I have a lot of repo in which I've already done this. So I'll share one repo with all of you. Okay, when you are cloning this code in your, like, what is it? Mm, in your PC, just you have to do one thing. Apart from all the commands I've used, you have to use extra command npm install. Okay, then you follow the remaining commands. Okay. After that, once the winner is decided, then I'll put the solution for the car game. Remaining, I think car game is already there on my GitHub. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, so once you go to my GitHub, which is Pro Abhishek, you will get the piece of this code. Okay, just search it by the name Hello World, Hello or Hello World. You'll get it. It's private for all of you now. I'll make it public. Okay, search it after 30-40 minutes, it will be there. Okay, because here I cannot share you the link on the chat, the link is blocked. Or basically what you can do, guys, in simple words, car game you will get it. Okay, last date to submit it as soon as possible. You never know, you guys can, or in case if you're not getting it now, you guys can ping me on LinkedIn. I'll send you the code. Okay, my LinkedIn also username is also Pro Abhishek, so you can find me on LinkedIn also, and you can directly message me without even sending me a request. Okay, so my chat is public. Okay, okay, guys, awesome. See you. Bye bye. I think information you should get in the group, or in case if you've not got it, I'll let them know. You have not got the link till now. Okay, I'll let them know. They will put the link. Okay. Okay.